Hello everybody and welcome back. In the last video, we looked at how to model this flat slab. We also looked at how to create these drop panels without relying on in-place families or components. Alright, good. Now we're going to go ahead and learn how to detail this flat slab. If you'd like to start from the modeling of the reinforcement, you can download the projects file using the link in the description of the video. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set rebar layers here that's what we're going to model inside this flat slab. So let's go ahead and get started. Now to do this efficiently, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the Manage tab. On the Manage tab, under Settings, you're going to see this option here for shared parameters. Now this is kind of like a very proper way to do it. We've covered this in a previous video, but let's start it again for the sake of this. I'm going to come here and click on Create in case you don't have a shared parameter file. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a new file called structural.txt. You can see I already have one here. So let's assume we've gone ahead and created it. So you can just come here, right click on new, just go ahead and click on text document. I'll go ahead and call this here structural. I'll call it structural2 because I already have one here, .txt. All right, good. I'll select it and I'll go ahead and click here on save. In this case here, it's telling me I already have a structural2.txt. Do I want to replace it? I'm just going to click yes. All right, good. So you can see it's loaded here. What I'll do now is I'll go ahead and create a new group. So I'll click on new. I'll call this here Rebar. All right, good. I'll go ahead and click OK. And under parameters, I'll come here and click on new. I'll go ahead and call this here Rebar layer. Good. And for the type, I'm just going to click on the drop down. I'm going to switch it here to text. I'll go ahead and click on OK, and I'll click OK. Now the reason why we've done this is that we want to assign this to our rebar tag later on. Alright, now that we've gone ahead and created the parameter, let's go ahead and create a project parameter from it. So still under the Manage tab, I'll come here to project parameters. I'm just going to come here and click here on new parameter. In this case here, I'll come and switch here to shared parameter. I'll click on select and you see it's already open here. I'll make sure it's selected, click OK. And over here you can see the discipline is set here to common, the type is set here to text. And I'm going to go ahead and group this under, let's go ahead and switch here to identity data. You can also place it as well under construction. Okay, in this case, let's for this example, place it under construction. I'll leave it as an instance parameter, values are aligned by group type, and I'm going to go ahead and assign this here to structural rebar. So I'll type here REBAR. I'll go ahead and check here structural rebar and I'll click OK. And now we have a new project parameter in the project for rebar. Now we're going to go ahead and create filters for all the rebar layers that we're going to model later on. So this is kind of like a pro tip. Under the Manage tab, I'm going to come here under selection and click on edit. And you see here what we call rule-based filters. I'll come here and click on new. And I'll go ahead and call this rebar here. Let's call it here B1. I'll set it here to define rules. I'll go ahead and click on OK. It brings up this dialog box. So make sure B1 is selected. And I want it to affect here for categories of structural rebar. So I'm just going to scroll down to where we have structural rebar. Check it like this. And I'll set it to the new project parameter we just created, which is rebar layer. So come here, set it to rebar layer, and I'll set it here to be equals to, and I'll type here B1. I'll click on apply. Now I'll select this B1 here, and I'll click on this button to duplicate, select this, click here to rename, and I'll go ahead and call this here B2, click OK. Make sure it's selected, and you can see it still has the same filter rules. I'll just switch this here to B2. Apply. Now let's do the same thing as well for T1 and T2. I'll select B2 here, I'll duplicate, select this one here, go ahead and rename, go ahead and set this here to T1, click OK. I'll go ahead and change this here to T1, apply. The last one, select this, go ahead and duplicate, select it, rename, call this here T2, click OK, set this here to T2, click apply, and now we're done. Just click OK. There we go. We can now see we have 4 new rule-based filters based on the rebar layer. Now we're going to go ahead and set the rebar cover for all the structural elements in the project. So I can actually quickly do that by making a selection over all the elements. In this case, we're in the 3D view, by the way. And if you come over here to the properties, we see we have common elements. Let's go ahead and start here with the floors. I'll click on the drop down and I want all my suspended floors and the drop panels. I'll just come and switch here to floors. just make sure they are set here to structural, and I'm going to set the top face, bottom face, and other faces to 30 mm. I'll click on the drop down here, I'll set this to 30, click here, set this to 30, click here, set this to 30, and I'll click on apply. Now I'll go ahead and switch here. I want to change the same thing as well for my structural columns. I'll switch here to 30, switch here to 30, and switch here to, let's use 30 as well. So it's already on 30. That's good. I also do the same thing as well for my walls. Just come and switch here to walls. There we go. Scroll down, so make sure that it's set here as structural. I'm going to switch here to 30, which is already on 30. You can pick any option here based on the exposure class. I'm not being too specific. Pick here 30. There we go. And now we've set the cover for all the major structural elements inside this project. Now let's go ahead and start modeling our reinforcements. So I'm going to come here and switch here to level 2. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and open up this section that we created in the last video. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click to open this up. All right, good. And over here, you can see we have this section. Now I'm going to go ahead and select this particular drop panel, and I'm just going to go and click here on Rebar, and I'm going to place the reinforcement inside. So since this is the first time we're greeted with this warning, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. All right, good. So now the first thing I want to do is I want to place here a bottom bar in this direction. So I'll go ahead and set the properties I want. Now I'm just going to use here, let's use H16 for this. And I'm going to change the layout here to maximum spacing. I'll set it here to 200. I'll click on apply. There we go. And I'll come inside here. I'll make sure it's set here to 00. By the way, if your Shape Rebar browser is not open, just make sure you click on this button to open it up. I'll go over here and click to place the reinforcements. All right, good. Now, once you're done, just go ahead and click on modify. And now I can go ahead and select that bar and I can modify it however I want. Before I do that, I'll select it and I'm going to scroll down, and you see here where we have construction, we've set a new parameter called Rebar layer. I'm going to go ahead and set this here as B1, type here B1, and then I'll click on apply. And now I can go over here while the bar is selected. I'll click here on edit sketch and I'll go ahead and select a line, and I'll click here and I'll place a segment in this direction. Once I'm done, I go ahead and press escape. Now I'm going to add 2 hooks to this end and this end. So to do that, I'm just going to come here to hook at start. I'll set it here to 90 degrees and I want it to go in the other direction. So I can either change the hook at start rotation, or I can click on this button to toggle it to the other direction. I'll come here to hook at end as well. Come here and switch this here to 90 degrees. And you can see this one is in the right direction. I'm going to click on it and just drag it a bit to the side. Yeah, okay. There we go. Once I'm done, I'll just go ahead and click on finish. Now, if we want to go ahead and override the hook length, it's quite easy. Just select it like this. If you scroll down under construction, you see override hook length. I'll go ahead and select it, click on apply. And I'll come here, click here, and I can change it to 300. In this side as well, I can change this as well to 300. There we go. Now, with this selected, I'm just going to go ahead and copy it to this other drop panel here. So I'll have it selected already. It's already selected. I'll go ahead and click here on copy, click on this endpoint here, and then I'll move over in this direction. I'll place this one here. Of course, this is not going to be the shape. So I'll click on modify. I'll select it and I'll click on edit sketch. I'll go over here and add another segment in this direction. So I'll click here on line. I'll come and click in this direction where we have the endpoints. Click here and I'll move upwards so it matches with the other heights. There we go. Then I'll press escape. I'll press escape again and I'll click on this button here to toggle the hook orientation. I'll click on this and I'll drag this here to the other end. All right, not this other end here, just here, around here. There we go. And once I'm done, I just go ahead and click on finish. As you can see, the hook length is 300 in this direction and 300 in this direction as well. You can also see the other properties are here. Now, with it being selected, I'll go ahead and click here on copy. I'll click on this endpoint here. And I'll just move in this direction and paste this one here as well. Press escape, and that's how we've placed our B1 in the drop panel. Now we're going to go ahead and place the B2 in this direction. To go ahead and do that, I'll go ahead and select this. And if we switch to the 3D view, we can see the reinforcement in question. We're going to use the 3D view for modeling reference. I'll click on the top view here, and with this bar selected, I'll just go ahead and click here on rotate. I'll click here and make sure that the copy is turned on. I'll move in this direction. I'll rotate by 90 degrees. There we go. And we can modify the points. So in this case, I'll drag it here to this end here. There we go. I'll drag this one to the end as well. And I'll drag this grid points to this point here. There we go. And I'll drag these grid points to this point as well. If you orbit around, you'll be able to see exactly what we're doing. And we want this hook to go to the other end. So let me click on the left view. I'll drag it here like this. There we go. And we want to have a hook at the other end. So what I'll do is I'll just come here and click on edit sketch. And I can just select this bar here. I'll go ahead and click on copy, click here, and I'll click in this direction. I'll press escape. I'll click on this bottle here to toggle the hook orientation, and I'll go ahead and click on finish. All right, good. Now with this new bar, I'm going to go ahead and change the layer. I'll set it here to B2. I'll go ahead and click on apply, and I'll come back here into section 1. And you can see it's not in the right position, so we need to go ahead and click on this grid point. Move it like this. Likewise as well, I want to drag this one here a bit to the side. There we go. And I'll drag this one here as well. I'll still cross-checking the 3D view to make sure what we've done is correct, and that's good. And now I can go ahead and come back to section 1, and I can copy it to these other segments. So select it like this. I'll go ahead and click on copy. Click on this endpoint here. I'll go ahead and paste one here. I'll press escape. And now I'll click on this grid points and drag it here to this edge here. There we go. All right, somewhere around here. Great. Good. Don't want it to be too close because the other is not that close. All right, great. That's fine. And then I'll go ahead and select it, and I'll click on copy, click here, and I'll come here and click here and press escape. You can see it also maintains the other properties. If I come to the 3D view as well, you see that we've placed that reinforcement. Now let's go ahead and model the top reinforcements. I'll move over here to this drop panel, click on it like this. I'll click on Rebar, and I'll make sure that it's set here to this 0, 0. In this case, I'm going to switch the spacing here to 150. I'll press enter, and I'll set it here to H16, and I'm going to set the rebar layer here to T1. I'll click on apply. Now I'll come inside here, and then I'll click to place my reinforcement like this. There we go. Then I'll press escape. If I select it, I'll go over here and set the hook at start. I'll set it here to 90 degrees, and then that's fine. And I'll click on override hook length. I'll click inside here and change this here to 300. Now I want this one here to be close to it as well, so I'll click and then just drag it. There we go, and that's a very nice detail. I also click on this one also, just drag it a bit to the side. All right, good. Now notice here that we have here our reference planes for modeling. So what I want to do is I want to make sure this goes in this direction by at least 350. So I'll click here, and then I'll just go ahead and drag it in this direction. And what I can do is I can use my dimension lines under the modify tab. If I click here, I'll click here, and I'll come here and make sure it's referencing at end of bar. There we go. And then I'll click, then press escape. I'll select this bar here, and I'll change this here to 350. I'll go ahead and press enter. There we go. Good. I'll click on this and I'll delete. And what I want to do is I want to copy this bar here to the other ends. If you come to the 3D view, you can also see a sample of what you've done. I'll come back into the section view, and I'll come here and click here on copy, click here, and then I'll move in this direction, click here, then I'll press escape. In this case, we don't need a hook here, so I'm going to switch this here back here to none, and then I'll drag the extents back here a bit, and I want to measure. So I'll come here and I'll click on dimension, and I'll dimension to the start of bar, click here, press escape. I'll select the bar, and I'll switch this here to 350. Press enter. I'll select this dimension and delete it for now. I'll select this here again. I'll come here and click on copy, click on this endpoint here as a reference, and then I'll come here and paste it. Then I'll press escape. There we go. If you come to the 3D view, you can see exactly what we've done. Now I'm going to go ahead and model the U bar here where we have the wall supports. So I'll just go ahead, instead of creating another bar, I can just select this one here. I'll come here and click on copy. I'll copy from here, and I'll go over here and paste it here. Press escape. Now I'm going to change this here from T1. I'll call this here U bar. There we go. I'll click on apply. Great. And I'm going to extend this line backwards a bit like this, and I'll click on edit sketch. I'll come here, click on line. I'll add a new segment, so one here and another one here as well. I'll press escape. If I go ahead and click on finish, you can see we have our U bar. I want this to extend by 350 as well, and I'll just come and click on my dimension. Now you can use any value of your choice. This is just going to be mostly for my lapping. There we go. I'll select this bar and I'll change this here to 350. There we go. And here I'll select this dimension. I'll come here and snap it to this point. Click here and I'll change this here to 350 and press enter. I'll go ahead and delete this. Good. If you come to the 3D view, you can see exactly what we've done. Now I just remembered we need to set a layer for U-bars. So I'll come here and I'll come back to the manage tab and come to edit, and we need to create a new rule-based filters for U-bars. I'll click on new here and I'll come here and call this here U-bar. There we go, and click OK, and you can see it's been set here. I'll scroll down, I'll look for the structural rebar, set it here to rebar layer. There we go, set it here to equals to, and I'm going to set it here to U-bar. Apply and OK. You're going to see why this is going to be useful later on. Alright, let's go ahead and model the top bars along the column strip in this direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this slab here. I'm going to click here on rebar. I'm going to scroll up and search here for this straight bar here. And I'm going to set here to maximum spacing again, set it here to 200 and make sure it's on 16. I'm going to use 16 mm bars for the top. And I'm going to move towards here and I'm just going to place the bar. There we go. Then press escape, select it. And I'm just going to drag the extents backwards a bit to this point here. And for here as well, this has gone all the way to this point. So just going to drag it back here. And I'm going to go to the 3D view and see what's been done. So you see here, it's gone through the whole span. We don't want that. We just want it to be along the column strip. So I'm going to click here on the top view. I'm going to click here and drag this one back here. It's going to stop somewhere around here. There we go. And we'll do the same thing here. I'll drag this one backwards here and we'll stop it here. I always like everything to be aligned. There we go. That's good. So if we come back here into section 1, we won't be able to see that change here, but it's been made effects. All right, good. So for where this one stops, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 350 as well. Going to come to the modify tab, click on measure, click here, and then I'll come and reference this point here, end of bar, click here, press escape. Then I'll select this bar here and then type in here 350, press enter. All right, good. I'm going to do the same thing here as well. Just use the shortcut as well, DI, if you don't want to be going here all the time. Type DI, click here, click here, click here, select this bar, and I'll change this here to 350. Then press enter. I'll select this bar as well, and I'm going to go ahead and set the rebar layer here to T1. I'll click on apply. There we go. And I'm going to copy it with respect to this point as well. So I'm just going to click here on copy, click here, and paste it. There we go. And then we need one more here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy again. So copy, I'm going to copy from this point here all the way to this point, press escape. And of course, we don't want it extending all the way here. So I'm just going to drag it back here and I can let it stop just before the face. All right, good. If you want to be very specific about how they lap, you can also just do dimension. I'll type here dimension and I'll try to press the tab key. Moving closely, there we go, start of bar, and then come here, end of bar, click here, press escape, then I'll select this. I will just type here 350. There we go, and that's fine. So I can go ahead and delete this dimension. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and model the T2 reinforcements. I'm going to zoom inside here. I'll select this bar. I'll go ahead and click on copy. I'll click here and I'll move it here to the top. I'll press escape. I can use my arrow key to nudge it up a bit. Okay. Well, if you come to the 3D view, you can see here that this here is not the right shape. So with it being selected, I just want it to be a straight bar. I'm going to change it here from 21 to 00. I'll just type 00. Click on that and apply, and you can see it's changed it back to a straight bar. Now with it being selected, you can still come back into the section view, make sure it's selected. I'll come to the 3D view here. I'll click on the top view and I'm just going to go ahead and drag the extent out a bit. So I want it to extend out of the drop panel a bit, so I'll drag this out here as well. All right, good. Likewise as well for this T2, I'm going to change here the name, change it here to T2 before I forget. Okay, and I'll also change the spacing here to 150. All right, so I'll go ahead and press enter. There we go. All right, good. With that being done, I'll come back here into section 1 and I can go ahead and copy. So I'll just come here, click on copy from this point here, and we need one as well here. Paste, press escape, and I'm going to drag the extents here all the way to this point. There we go. Good. I'm going to go ahead and click on copy again, click here, and I'll come and paste one here. There we go. Press escape. All right, good. So we've placed the T2 in the drop panels. All right, let's go ahead and continue. We're going to go ahead and model the T2 reinforcement across here. And here you might notice here that some of the dimensions are making it a bit hard to work with. So I'll just go ahead and select it. I'll just right click and hide in view by elements. I'll do the same thing as well for any dimension that might be in between. So I'll just right click, I'll hide in view by elements just temporarily. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and select this T2 bar. I'll come here and click on copy, and I'll go ahead and copy from, let's copy from the top here at the center. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and paste one here. Then I'll press escape. There we go. That's the bar. So I'll select it here, and I'm going to change this spacing here to 200. All right, good. Now I'll drag the extent all the way to this point here, just like that. And I'll select that T2 bar. Go ahead and click on copy. Then I'm going to paste one here, and I'll paste one here. All right, in this case, of course, we need to drag it back. Okay, and we'll stop it around here. All right, there we go. So we've placed our T2 reinforcement. You can always switch into the 3D view to see exactly what you are doing as well. All right, let's continue. Now, I tend to be some sort of perfectionist. I don't want this to be too close to this bar. So I'll go ahead and select it. And I'll change this parameter here to 340. All right, good. I'm going to do the same thing here as well. This very small details, no one might see it, but it really, helps with your presentation. All right, good. Just place this one here as well. Change this to 340. There we go. Any draftsman would always appreciate any of this. All right, good. Now let's place here the B1 reinforcements. I'm going to select this one here, and I'll just go ahead and copy it. So I'll just click here on copy, and I'll come here and click here and paste. And I'm going to use my arrow key to nudge it to the bottom, just like this. All right, so it sits just before the cover. And I'm going to change this here to let's change it to a 12 bar. Then I'll nudge it down a bit more. All right, good. So here I'm going to go ahead and change the name here to B1. Click on apply, and I'll select this one as well. And you can see the color has changed because on this templates, it updates the color based on the type. I'll copy this one here, which is the T2. Go ahead and paste this one. There we go. And I'll change this one as well to 10 bars. I'm going to go ahead and nudge it here as well. There we go. And I'm okay with this. I'm just going to hold down the control key, select this one here. I'm going to click here on copy. I'll copy from this point here, paste this one here as well, and I'll go ahead and paste this one here. Of course, we can't have it extend all the way here, so I'll just go ahead and select the bar, navigate and drag the extents back here. I'll select this one here, drag this one back inside here, and just for those very key details, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure it's aligned. So I'll type AL, it's shortcut, or you can just click on this button here for align. Press the tab key so I can select the end of bar, and I want it to align with this end of bar as well. All right, good. So you can see now that we've been able to work the detail. Now I'm going to switch here to the 3D view, and I want to make a copy into this direction as well. So I'll just go ahead and make a selection of the whole model. I'll come here and click on filter, check none, and just make sure that structural rebar is selected. I'll click on apply and okay. You can see it's just the reinforcement. I'll go ahead and click on top, and I'm just going to click here on copy. I'm going to come to this point here, click on the end point here, and I'm just going to make a copy to this direction. Just go ahead and click, and then I'll press escape. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this U-bar. So what I'll do is I'll just press escape first, select this U-bar and delete. It might make more sense to just go ahead and have it extend. So I can click on it like this, and I'll go over here and extend it all the way to this point, just like this. And I'll go ahead and place it like this. Great, good. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and copy this reinforcement here from this drop panel inside here. I'm going to click on the top view again, make a selection like this, and I'm going to filter. Don't want to copy the drop panel, so select none, select structural rebar, and you should have 4 sets. I'll click on apply and okay. and I'll come here and click here on copy. I'll go ahead and click on this point here, endpoints, move upwards, and then go ahead and paste here, then press escape. And of course, we need to make some modifications. The first thing I'll do is I'll select the set in this direction and I'll drag it all the way down into this drop panel. So just about where we have the face. I'll select this other set like this and then I'll drag it here. I want to also it to be here. There we go. Then I'll drag this long one here. Just drag it all the way back like this. Then click on this one, then drag it all the way back just to this point here. So don't worry about this extension. We'll fix that now. Now I'm going to orbit around and you can see how the bar looks like. So we're going to go ahead and add a hook to this and then we're going to remove a segment from this. So I'll switch this here to fine. That's the detail level so we can see what we're doing. I'll select this bar first, click on edit sketch, and I'll go ahead and click and I'll remove this segment. I'll now flip this orientation in this direction, then click on finish. There we go. If I orbit around, you can see how it looks. Then I'll go ahead and select this other one, click on this one here, and I'll come here and then I'll set hook at start, set it here to 90 degrees. And just like that, you can see we've placed the detail. Now I like the one at the top here to just be, away from it. So just go ahead and drag this out. Then I'll select this one here. I can just drag it in a bit. There we go. No specific reason, I just like it like that. All right, good. So now we've gone ahead and place here on this side. Let's go ahead and place in this direction. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and flip back to the top view and I want to make a selection over here. In this case, I don't want to select the slab. So I can just select it like this and I can go ahead and pin it by clicking on this button here. You see this option here to pin it. There we go. And once it's pinned, I'll just come here and click this button here. So I won't be able to select pinned elements. Now you can see I can't select the slab. Now I'll make a selection over the reinforcement like this. Go ahead and click on filter, check none. Just go ahead and click on structural rebar. And we should have 4 in a set. Apply and OK. There we go. And I'll just go ahead and click on copy. This will save us a lot of time with trying to create sections again. So I'll click on this endpoint. And I'll just come here and paste in this direction, then press escape. So just like we did the last one, I'm just going to go ahead and align. So I'll select this, click and drag it down to this point. There we go. Select this, click and drag, and you'll find out that the software tries to align it for you. And here for this ones here, I'll go ahead and drag it back here as well. And I'll go ahead and select this one and I'll drag it backwards as well. All right, good. Now if I just orbit around, I can go ahead and make the adjustments of my choice. In this case, I'll select this, edit sketch, go ahead and delete this segment, then flip the orientation. And I might want to drag it back a bit. So just drag it back like this. There we go. Click on finish. Then I'll select this one at the top. And I'll just go over here and click here on hook at start, 90 degrees. There we go. I just want to be sure that they are not clashing with each other. All right, that's fine. Good. Now I'll go ahead and flip here to the top view. Let me just orient back here to notes here. And I can go ahead and copy to this direction. So what I can quickly do, since we have a symmetrical slab, is to make a selection like this. Go ahead and filter. You can also pin the columns and drop panels as well if you don't want to select them. So I'll just go ahead and select this, apply, okay. There we go. And you can see we have 8 sets. Very important. I'm just going to come here and then click on mirror draw axis, then come and find the midpoint of the slab, click here, move upwards, and then click again. Great. So we would also do the same thing as well here. I'll make a selection of everything like this, filter, check none, structural rebar, apply, and we should have 16. Then I'll come here and click here on mirror draw axis, find the midpoint, click here, move like this, click, and just like that, we've placed the reinforcements in all the drop panels. Now let's go ahead and place the support reinforcements. When I mean support, the middle or rather the column strip reinforcements at the edges. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a selection of these bars here. I just click on the top view. Keep in mind we're oriented not in this direction. And I'll make a selection over the bars like this. Okay, and you can see here that we have 4 rebars in sets. All right, with them being selected, I'm just going to come here and click here on copy. There we go. And I'm going to come to the end of this locally drop panel, click there as a reference, and I'll come here and click here and I'll press escape. All right, good. Of course, they can't extend outwards. So I'm just going to select the bar. I'm just going to drag this here and I'm going to stop it around here. There we go. Click on this, drag this one here and stop it around here. Then I'll click on this individual bar. I'm just going to drag it all the way to this point here. There we go. And I'm going to click on this one. I'll drag it all the way to this point as well. Alright, good. So we'll have a U bar here that will collect everything. I'll do the same thing as well to this other direction. So what I can do is I'll make a selection like this. So always be careful of how you select the bars. I'll go ahead and select it again. There we go. So we have 4 in the sets. And where you copy from is very important. So I'm going to be copying from this endpoint here. There we go. And I'll move in this direction. Go ahead and paste one here. And move in this direction. Go ahead and paste one here as well. Press escape. And now you can see we've placed our reinforcement in that direction. I'll do the same thing as well to the other end. And by now you might have already known what I want to do. So I'll click on the top view. I'll go ahead and make a selection like this. So we have 4. I'll hold down the control key, make a selection like this. Then we have 8, hold the control key, make a selection like this. And then we have 12. I'll come here, click on this button, mirror draw axis, come to this midpoint, click here, move in this direction, then go ahead and click again to place that reinforcement in that direction. Alright, there we go. You can see the reinforcement has been placed here as well. Now I'm just going to go ahead and copy these ones as well to the middle strip at the sides. So I'm just going to flip here in this direction again. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a selection over like this. There we go. We have 4 in the sets. And what I'll do is I'll come here and click on copy. Then I'll come and then go ahead and paste it here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. So I'll click here on this button here for rotate. And I want to make sure that copy is turned off. So I'll turn off the copy. I'll click here, first point, then move in this direction. And then I'll come here and click at 90 degrees. I'll just come over here and click and drag the whole set all to this point. And I just want to make sure it's aligned here. You can actually nudge, or if you want to be very precise, you can just come here and click on the move tool. Click here, and I want them to be at this direction. Likewise as well, I also want to nudge it down a bit, so we make sure that this reinforcement doesn't enter into the drop panel. In the same way as well in this direction. Alright, good. So once that's been done, we can go ahead and copy it while it's still being selected. So I'll come here and click on this button for copy. And I'm going to be copying from this endpoint here at the endpoint of this drop panel. So I'll click here. There we go. Come to the endpoint of the drop panel here. Paste. There we go. Come to the endpoint of this drop panel and paste. Alright, good. I'll go ahead and press escape. Good. So I want to place it in this direction as well. So I'll make a selection like this. So make sure that you have 4 in the set. Hold down the control key. Select this ones. We have 8. Hold down the control key, make a selection like this. We have 12. I'll come here and click on mirror draw axis. Then go ahead and find the center. And if you have any hard time finding the center, you can right click. Then come to snap overrides. And then just click on midpoints. Now you'll be able to find the midpoint of the slab. If I click, I can now move downwards. Go ahead and click again. And you can see I've been able to place the bars. Oops, so we don't need the reinforcement here. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. I'll just select and delete quickly. There we go. And likewise as well, these bars extend a bit too much in. So I'll go ahead and click here and I'll just drag it inside here, this point. I would have U bars here that will return inside. So just going to drag it here. There we go. Great. Then I'll do the same thing as well in this direction. Drag it here and drag it here. There we go. Don't want it to be too close to the support. Or rather, let's pull it inside here. Good. So the U-bar will be where the support will be. So good. That's what we did here. Alright, good. So you can see we've been able to place the corner column strip bars. Now let's go ahead and place the column strip reinforcement in this direction and in this direction. I'll go ahead and switch here to the top view. Keep in mind we're still in the 3D view. I'll make a selection over these bars. As right now our slab is pinned and we can select it. So I can make a selection like this. There we go. We have 4 bars in the set. And I'm going to rotate these bars by 90 degrees from the center of this column. So to do that, I'm just going to come here and click on rotate. And then I'll click on center of rotation. I'll click here place. And I'll go ahead and find the center point like this. Alright, so if you can't find the center point here, maybe the bars are clashing. What you can do is you can right click while the rotate command is active. Come to snap overrides and then click on points. This way it will only snap to the point when you move around. So this is the point. I'll click here and I'll form a straight line like this. So make sure it snaps to a straight line. And you want to make sure that copy is turned on. So I'll snap to the straight line, click. move in this direction, and then type in here 90 degrees and then press enter. All right, good. With the bar still selected like this, or if you just make a mistake, you can just make a selection like this again. We have 4 bars in the set. I'll come here and click on copy, and I'll copy here from this points. There we go. And I'll move downwards here. I want to find the points here as well. You can see it's quite hard. You can actually place and modify, but I really want to get that point. So I'll right click again, snap overrides, and I'll come here and click on points. This way, if I move around, I won't be able to find the points. There we go. This is it. Click here. There we go. You can see it's perfectly placed there. And here at this column here, I can see the points is around here. Click here. There we go. Once you're done, you can just press escape. And I can easily make a selection over the bars like this. So for sets, hold down the control key, select this, hold down the control key, select this ones as well. And I'll come here and click on copy. Then I'll find the points here, click here, move in this direction. I'll go ahead and find the points as well, click here, and I'll press escape. And just like that, we've placed the reinforcements in the column strip in the other direction. Now we're going to model the reinforcement along the midspan. So I'll come over here to level 2. I'll select this section 1 here, click on copy, click here, and then I'm going to paste one here. So this will now be our section 2. I'm going to double click to open it up, and you can see our section of our middle strip reinforcements. What I'll do here is I'll go ahead and select this bar like this. All right, hold down the control key, select this ones here. You can come to the 3D view to see the bars you've selected. I'll come back to section 2, and I'll go ahead and copy with respect to this reference plane here, and I'll go ahead and paste it here, then press escape. There we go. Now I'll select this bar here, this one that's on top, right? And I'm going to change it here to H10. Likewise as well, this one as well, I'll change it here to H10. All right, and then over this here, I'm going to change this here to H16, and I'll change this one here to H16 as well. All right, good. So I'm just going to nudge it up a bit. There we go. All right, it's good. Let me just nudge it down here. All right, just for that presentation. And I'm just going to click on this and extend it inwards like this direction. There we go. And if you want to be specific, you can just always add that dimension for the lap length. So I'll go ahead and I'll check it, select the bar here. Let's say I want to use 240 in this direction. There we go. I can select this here, change the witness line to this point here, select this. Let's type here 240 as well. I can delete this, and I can check in this direction as well. I can use the shortcut DI for dimension. There we go. This is 240, and this one is 240 as well. So that's fine. Very good. Now I'll click on this bar here, and I'll go ahead and extend it all the way to this point. I'll select this one here as well and extend it all the way to this point. All right, there we go. Now if you come to the 3D view, you can see here that it has been placed in the right direction. Now let's go ahead and copy this reinforcement to the other midspans. So to select it, I can just come to section 2. I'm always trying to find the best view to select the bars. So here I'll make a selection like this. There we go. And you see we have 4 structural rebar sets. If you selected something else, you can always just come here, filter, and remove what you don't need. Now I'll come here to the 3D view. You can see we have those 4 bars. I'll click on the top view. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy from a reference that we can use. In this case here, let's go ahead and use the centers of the columns. So I'll just come here and click on copy. I'll right click on snap overrides, and I'll click here on points, and I'll find the points of this column. Click here. I'll move to this direction here. You can find the points of this. I'll come here, find the points, and you can see I'm finding it hard to find the points here. So I can right click, snap overrides, click on points. There we go. I'll move to this direction as well. Okay, can't find the points. Right click, snap overrides, then click here on points. There we go. Good. Then I'll place one like this as well. Okay, I can find the points for this one here. Then I'll find the points for this column here. It's a bit hard, so right click, snap overrides, and then I'll find the points. So they are obviously depending on your workflow, you can always use a different method. Right click here, snap overrides, and I'll click on points again, and the column should be somewhere around here unless my eyes deceive me. Right, let me see quite clearly. Okay, yeah, so it's somewhere around here. There we go. Or let me right click again, snap overrides, and then click on points. Good. So it was just above this bar. Alright, good. So I'll place one here as well. Be careful not to use midpoints, it might not be what you want to use. So right click, snap overrides, and click on points. There we go. Just zoom out and try to find the center. There we go. Good. And we're done. Now we need to place one in this direction as well. So I'll just come here and I'll find the what do you call it, the points here. Click here, and of course we can't have it extending all the way out, so we can easily adjust. I'll press escape, select this bar here, and then I'll drag this here to this points here. All right, around here, select this bar here, drag this one here to this points. There we go. I'll select this bar and I'll drag it here just before the face. All right, there we go. Drag this one here as well, just before the face. There we go. Okay, no, let's drag it inside so the U-bar would actually take care of it. All right, it's good. So just drag it here, drag it here. There we go. All right, good. Now I noticed that some of the bars we pasted earlier on, they also extend. So let's just go ahead and adjust. So drag it to this point here, drag it to the points here as well. There we go. And let's select this one here, drag it to this point here, drag this one to this point here as well. There we go. All right, good. So we've been able to place our mid-span reinforcements. Now I noticed that I made a mistake. So if I come to section 2, you can see here that this particular bar here is labeled as T2. In fact, I forgot to actually label it as B2 when I copied, but these ones here are fine. So how do we fix this kind of issue? You don't want to start deleting bars over and over again. So if I come to the 3D view, what I can do is I can come over here to visibility graphics, click on edit, I'll come to filter, and I'll click on add, and this is why we created this earlier on. I'll hold down the control key and select all these Rebar filters that we created, and I'll click OK. And I'm going to go over here and turn off the visibility for all apart from T2. So I'll go ahead and turn off the visibility for everything apart from T2. I'll click on apply and OK. And you can see our T2 bars. Now I'll click on the front view, and you can see the ones at the top. These T2 bars are fine, but this should not be T2. So what I can do is just a very nice and easy technique. By the way, this one's here, the T2, at the top here, so you don't want to select it. So I just want to select these bars like this. I'll make a selection like this, then I'll zoom out, and then I'll pan to the other direction using my middle scroll button all the way to this point. And you can see I've just selected everything like this. If I scroll down, I'll just go ahead and change everything here to B2. If I click apply, you can see they are no longer visible here. That saves us a lot of time. Now all I need to do is just come back to the visibility graphics override, click on edit, come to filters, and I can turn on the visibility for everything again so I can see my bars. All right, there we go. Now we need to go ahead and add support reinforcements at this edge and at this edge as well. We already have one here, but we need to place one here. So I'm just going to go over here into section 2, which is along this span here. There we go, and this is the detail we have. First of all, I'm just going to click on this, then drag it back a bit. I don't want them to be too close to each other. There we go. All right, good. That's a very nice detail. And now what I'll do here is that I'm going to make a copy of this reference plane here. I'll click on copy, click here, and then I'll paste it in this direction. I'll press escape. I'll go ahead and use my dimension tool, and I'll measure between the two planes like this. And I'm just going to select this and extend by 600. All right, so I want to have at least a wide support strip. So with that being done, I'll select this bottom or top reinforcement here. I'm just going to go ahead and drag it here up to this point. There we go. And I'll select this one here as well, and I will drag it all the way to this point as well. All right, good. Now I'm just going to select this bar like this. I'm just going to copy, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste it here like this as such. There we go. Then I'll press escape, and what I'll do is, with it being selected, I'll just drag the extents back here a bit. Now for this U-bar, is going to act here as our top one and our B1. So I'll come and click on the align tool, click on this reference plane, make sure that multiple alignment is turned on. So I'll select it, then click on the face here, make sure it shows start or end of bar. Then this one as well will say end of bar. I'll press escape, and then I'll select this one here. I'll go ahead and click on edit sketch, select this line segments and drag it back a bit like this. I'll come here and select the line. I'll click here, then move in this direction, click, then I'll move here, and I'll just go ahead and stop it somewhere around here. Press escape. All right, good. So make sure that here you have the cranks. So I can turn on my thin lines. Make sure that you have here the bend details. If not, it's not going to solve. So just going to turn that back on. Click on finish. There we go. All right, good. So we have this one here. Let me just go ahead and drag it here, just like this. Good. So this here is now going to be our T2 in this area. So I'll just type here T2. Click on apply. There we go. And I'm going to select this bar here. I'm just going to type here CO. Click here, and then I'm going to paste this one here as well. There we go. I'll select this particular bar here, and I'm going to add that same detail. Click on edit sketch. Click here. Drag it all the way to this point, somewhere around here. Click here. Click here. I'll move it upwards like this. And then go ahead and stop the bar around here. There we go. And I want to make sure that it's showing those bend details. If not, it's not going to solve. All right, good. Click on finish, and just like that, we have the detail. I'll select this bar here, and I might want to just nudge it down a bit. There we go. You can never be too clean. All right, so I'll set this one here. I can even click on the drop down. I'll set this here to B2. Click on apply. All right, there we go. If you come to the 3D view, you can also see that's how that detail looks in this area as well. So we'll do the same thing here also. Now let's go ahead and place it. So what I'll do is I'll just go over here and I'll try to select the U bar. So this is it here. And I'll click on the top view in the 3D view, and I'm going to go ahead and use my rotate tool. I'll make sure here that copy is turned on. I'll change the placement plane here. I'll come and click here. I'll move upwards, click in this direction, and then I'll just move in this direction, and I'll type here 90 degrees and press enter. Now I'll just go ahead and drag it in this direction. I want it to align to this first bar here. There we go. And I'll just come here and align it over here to this bar, maybe this bar here. All right, good. All right, so that saves us the stress of trying to create another section. But let's go ahead and see what's going on. So I'll just come here to the view tab, and oops, okay, I'm in 3D view, so I can't create a section here. So I'll come to level 2 instead, and I'll come over here and create a section. Let me just create a quick section along this area here like this, and I'll drag it to this point. There we go. And I'll go ahead and open up that section, double click, and you can see this area here. I'll change this quickly here to 1 to 25, and you can see exactly how it is. So this already is measured by, a 600 mm from the face of the wall. That saves us the time. Here you can see this slab is not joined with this. So I could just quickly fix this. Just join, click on this, that fixes the problem. All right, good. Now we don't necessarily have to crank. You can see they fall on the same plane, and that's actually fine. That's exactly what we need. In areas where you see those, you can just go ahead and add those crank details. This bar already here is T2. It's already here. We could actually extend this one backwards here and then put here this reinforcement, but that may not be reasonable or practical. You might as well just have this B2 run all the way to this point here. All right, good. So we've gone ahead and placed it in this direction, and we might also want to place it, of course, rather we'd want to place it in this direction. So I'll select this U bar like this, and I'll come here and click on this button, mirror draw axis, and now find the midpoint here, move in this direction, click, and just like that, you've seen we place it on the other end. All right, good. Now let's go ahead and model the U bars on all the other ends. So in this case here, I'm going to switch here back to section 2. And over in section 2, we see we don't have a U bar here. So I'll just go ahead and select this one like this. And I'll just click on mirror draw axis. And I'll just specify any points. Actually, don't need to be too specific. Then click here. And I can just go ahead and, drag it however I want. So I'll just use my arrow key to nudge it to the edge. There we go. All right, good. Just want to make sure it's exactly where the cover. I can just click and drag to this face. Good. So this is 16 mm bars, that's 150. And here you'll see that this is exactly at this face here. I'll just go ahead and change the spacing to 200. All right, good. And you can see here that it's spanning from here to here, and that's not exactly what we want. We just want it to be from here because this already has its reinforcement in the drop panels. So with it being selected, I'll just come here and drag, and I'll just want it to stop exactly here. There we go, just before the drop panel. I'll drag this one here as well into this direction. There we go. You can always orbit around and be sure of where you are placing it as well. All right, that's fine. Now if I come back here into section 2, you can see here that it's going to clash with some other bars. So what I can do is I can just go ahead and nudge it downwards. There we go. So it aligns with these bars like this. All right, so they fall in the same plane. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and go to the 3D view and place it in the directions is needed as well. So it will be needed here, 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 on this edge, all the edges where we don't have the drop panels. To make it easier for us to do, we might want to filter. So I'll just come back to visibility graphics overrides. I'll come to filters and I'll turn off all the reinforcements apart from U-bar. I'll click apply and makes it easier for us to see what we're doing. All right, good. So I'll select this bar here and I'm just going to click on copy. I'll go ahead and click on this. Let's go ahead and click on this point here. There we go. I'll move in this direction, paste this one here. Move in this direction, paste this one here as well. There we go. And I'll go ahead and rotate this one. So I'll just select it as it is, rotate. I'll go ahead and click here for the placement plane. I'll click in this direction, click like this, move in this direction, then 90 degrees. Of course, it's outside the bar, so we just go ahead and drag it inside the slab. Good. All right, good. That's fine. There we go. It's just about knowing how to, modify elements in your drawing. It saves you a lot of time. All right, good. So I'll select this one here and I'll go ahead and use mirror draw axis, specify the midpoints. There we go. Click here, great. And I'll go ahead and copy this one from this point here, copy. And oops, so this one here, I need it to extend outwards to this point here. I want to check that if that's the case here. Okay, so it didn't. All right, so I missed it by just a bit. Let's just go ahead and yeah, great. So we've been able to adjust. So I'll select this, copy from this endpoint here and paste on this endpoint. There we go. And the last ones here are these edges. So I'll select this, hold down the control key, select 3 of them like this. I'll go ahead and click here on the mirror draw axis, find the midpoints. And if you're having a hard time, just right click, snap overrides. I'll click on midpoints, click here, there we go. All right, good. So we've gone ahead and placed our U bars. Like always, if you want to see all the reinforcements, just come back to visibility graphics and go ahead and turn everything back on. All right, great. Now let's go ahead and check if we have all the bars being modeled correctly. So I'll come over here into the 3D view and I'm going to come here to visibility graphics overrides, click on edit and then come to filters. I'll go over here and isolate just B1 bar. So I'll just come here and isolate everything here. I'll click on apply and we can see here that all our B1 bars have been modeled correctly. I'll come here, turn this off, check B2, click apply. All right, because your slab detailing can get very busy, you want to be sure you didn't miss anything. Let's check for T1. All right, so we can see we have T1 everywhere. Good. Check this as well. This is T2. This is beautiful. Then we come here and check our U bar. Go ahead and click on apply and you can see as well that everything has been modeled correctly. There we go. Thanks for watching this video on how to model reinforcement in flat slabs. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how to detail this reinforcement in the plan views. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, share, comment. We always appreciate that, and we'll see you in the next video.